Alright, so when you have the water turned off, what do you do so that you have water? I'm glad you asked. Let me show you. Camp sink. Oh yeah. Got the water here. We got the pump right here. And back feeding into the cold side of the washer port. Hey everyone. So in that little clip you saw, the water main broke in front of my house, and the water was shut off for a period of time. So I did not have pressurized water in my house. This video is showing you how I was able to accomplish what you just saw in that clip, and being able to provide pressurized water to my home's plumbing without having water pressure at all from the city. There's a few key components here. This setup, this right here, some of this stuff here, and this container is part of my camp sink. I like to go camping. I'll leave a link for the video about the sink itself up here in the top right corner and down in the video description. But this tub turns into a sink. I've got some pieces that all nest inside of that and all work together to create running hot and cold water while I'm camping. So anyway, be sure and check out that video. But I want to show you how it can serve dual purpose and work in an emergency situation when you might not have running water, but it would be nice to pressurize your house's plumbing and get some running water. So the key component is this right here, this nice pump, and then some kind of power source. In that video you saw me using a power station. It was an EcoFlow Delta power station. This is a 12 volt pump, and it just needs a 12 volt power supply. So that can either be, in your car through the little cigarette lighter socket, a power station, or in my case, I've got kind of a cool contraption here where I have a power tool 18 volt battery and this adapter right here, and it just slots on like that. It's got a little inline fuse right here, an on-off switch, and I'm able to flip that on. Then I've wired in this dual cigarette lighter port, and then this just plugs right in. This little converter here steps the voltage down from the higher voltage of this battery down to a 12 volt balanced power source. So that's kind of convenient if you've got some power tool batteries laying around. You don't necessarily need a giant power station to run this. So anyway, I'll leave some links for this configuration down below. There's a bunch of options online, if you just look, that will adapt to different power tools. So it doesn't have to be Makita. That's just what I have. Let's look here at the pump. So this particular pump is made by Seaflow. The key thing with this pump is notice that it pumps about 55 psi. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. And so this is more than enough to pressurize an entire house worth of plumbing. Now, one thing to bear in mind is the flow rate. So that's just like your gallons per minute. Not huge on this. Again, this is just kind of an emergency thing. So quick little way to wash your hands quick in the sink, fill up the washer, the dishwasher, whatever. This is a great way to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to really do a full, everyone take a shower and all at the same time using water. I think that's going to overwhelm this quite quickly. Again, for emergency situations, works great. So it will draw, I've got some clear tubing here. It will draw water from a static water source. So that could be, a jug, it could be a barrel, container filled with water, whatever clean water source you have. This will draw from it. I'll put an image here from that first video clip. You can see that off to the right hand side of the image there, I've got a 6-gallon jug, and that was how I was pulling the water out of or that's what I was using to supply the water to my house's plumbing. One important thing before you connect this to your home's plumbing is to make sure that you've shut the main water valve off. Because if you leave that open, and like in my case, they've shut the water off in the street, if I leave that open, I'm going to be pumping all my precious water backwards out into the water main and right into the big hole that was out there. So we don't want to do that. So be sure and shut off your main water shutoff. You can see that I've connected through a series of fittings and hoses to my cold water inlet for my clothes washer. Nice thing about using that is it provides you with a nice hose thread connection. And so if we look here, I've got kind of a setup here where we've got this hose. It's going into this fitting, and right here I've got female hose thread that I'm able to use and connect to something like that washer inlet. And that way I can just pressurize the plumbing through that. That will backfeed through all the cold water lines, and then obviously backfeed into the hot water heater and backfeed all of your hot water lines as well. So it's actually quite a cheap, inexpensive setup. Obviously you need some kind of water source or water storage for this to work. I'll tell you what made a huge difference when I did not have running water. I live in the city, the suburbs, so I have a city water supply. I'm not on a well, but there's a lot of people that are on wells, and they are needing to, somehow keep the well running when power is off. You can do that, with a large generator, a large solar setup. There's a number of ways of doing that. If you had a little bit of water storage on hand, though, if you don't experience, super prolonged power outages, you could easily just keep that water storage stocked, and then use a very small pump like this to backfeed the house and get you through that power outage until you're able to run the main well pump again and save tons and tons of money in a giant 240 volt generator setup of some kind to be able to run your well pump during a power outage. There's some of you that live in very small apartments, very small conditions, may not even have washer and dryer facilities in your living space, and so you don't have a good way to connect something like this to the existing plumbing. In that case, you should maybe consider the camp sink, even if you're not a camper, so to speak, but some way of being able to wash dishes and wash hands, what have you. Compact, again, it all nests inside of this, including the pump and everything. So you may want to check out that video that I've got down below. First step is to shut your main water off like that. That way you don't go backfeeding into the street. Okay, just so you can see, we have no water coming out. All right, water is off. So let's just come in here, and I'll show you the setup. So just so we can see, I've got just this clear pitcher of water. Then we've got this clear suction tube, and it comes over here, and it comes into the intake of the pump. I have this little coupling right here that goes from, it's just a female coupling. And then I've got just some fittings. These I just had around. These actually are used for in-ground sprinklers. So obviously not a permanent or authorized indoor setup. But this is just what I had. So that's what we're doing with the test on today. And you can see that tube comes up, and then it kind of transitions to, there's a couple of different fittings here that I just kind of put together. What we've got here is a female connector, so that way we can connect both of these threads, and it's just standard hose thread. And we've got it going to the washer cold water tap. So what we need to do is turn this to the on position. I've just disconnected temporarily the washer, there that line is. And then for now, we're going to be using my little contraption here. We're going to open the faucet in the other room so that we can bleed all the air out. And then this actually has a pressure switch in it, so once it gets up to pressure, it will automatically stop pumping and just pump on demand. So go ahead and open the faucet. And here we go. You can see the water. Okay, go ahead and close the faucet. Okay, so there we go. We've now gotten the water into the pump and charged the lines. So if I go into the bathroom here, where we just were, you can see that we now have some water with some air in it, obviously. We've charged the plumbing in the house. So we're able to wash hands, do whatever we need to do very easily. I'm going to show you one more time. If you'll come back and turn that on for me when I tell you to. So you can see here with the little light that's glowing right here, the pump is on, it's powered, and now if I have the faucet open, go ahead and open it. You can see it automatically, go ahead and turn it off. You can see that the pump automatically turns on and off as needed, and the pressure switch switches. So that's very handy. Once you've got it set up, it just goes. Okay, and another option power-wise is to just get a small power station. This pump doesn't use that much power, and so just a small inexpensive power station like this one right here. This is the Blue Eddy EB3A, but any power station with a 12-volt cigarette style plug works. You'll be able to see that it powers this unit as well. Go ahead and turn it on. We'll look at the pole. Okay, off. So you can see that when it's running, it only pulls about 74 watts. Very slick, very easy, not hard at all, and can really be a lifesaver. And don't forget, guys, if you like these kinds of videos, be sure and smash that thumbs up button down below and subscribe, because we've got all kinds of additional tips and tricks and fun testing and reviews coming up. Take care.